Let's dive deep into one of the more intriguing storylines coming out of the Cowboys offseason. The situation surrounding Elijah Clark, a safety out of Syracuse who entered the league as an undrafted free agent but is quickly becoming one of the more talked about sleeper candidates to make the roster. Now, at first glance, some of the buzz around Clark has been fueled by reports that he took reps with the first-team defense during OTA letters, which many interpreted as a clear sign that he was moving up the depth chart and making real strides towards securing a spot. However, as is often the case with these kinds of situations, the reality is a bit more nuanced, and it's crucial to look beyond the surface to truly understand what's going on. The key piece of context that often gets missed or glossed over is the fact that the safety room was dealing with significant injuries during that period of OTA letters. Malik Hooker was sidelined with back spasms. Marcel Harris was off to the side focusing on shoulder rehab. And Donovan Wilson was nursing a knee injury. With three of the team's top four safeties either out or limited, the team naturally had to fill reps with whoever was available. And that's how Elijah Clark found himself working with the first-team defense that day. So while it's easy to hype this as some kind of elevation in his standing, the reality is that Clark was essentially stepping in to fill a gap caused by injuries, rather than overtaking a spot on merit alone at that point. That said, this doesn't mean Elijah Clark isn't a legitimate candidate to make the roster or contribute meaningfully to the team. In fact, when you look at the financial side of things, he actually leads the Cowboys' undrafted free agent class in guaranteed money, both in terms of his base salary and signing bonus, totaling around $159,000. This is significant because the amount of guaranteed money a player receives as an undrafted free agent is often a strong indicator of how much the team values him and believes in his potential to make an impact. It's a far cry from the typical throwaway deals many undrafted players get, suggesting the Cowboys see something in Clark worth investing in. In comparison, other undrafted safeties like Justin Barron, Mike Smith, and Raldo Farweather received much smaller guarantees, reflecting their lower standing on the depth chart and possibly fewer opportunities to break through. Justin Barron, another Syracuse product who has shown versatility by transitioning into a linebacker role, is an interesting case himself, combining special teams potential with some positional flexibility that coaches love. But when it comes to sheer financial commitment and early opportunity, Clark is currently the clear frontrunner among the undrafted safeties. Now, when you consider the current pecking order at safety for Dallas, it's fair to place Clark around fifth, behind the team's established starters and key backups like Marcel Harris, Wanya Thomas, Donovan Wilson, and Malik Hooker. The Cowboys historically don't carry five safeties on their active roster, so Clark's path to the 53-man roster is anything but guaranteed. However, his strong guarantee almost certainly makes him a prime candidate for the practice squad, where he can continue to develop and contribute on special teams. The ability to make an impact on special teams can't be overstated for undrafted players trying to find their place on an NFL roster, and Clark's size, speed, and instincts could very well make him a valuable asset in that phase of the game. It's also worth noting that the Cowboys' handling of undrafted free agents tends to be strategic. They often bring in a smaller, more focused group, which means the competition is fierce, but also that standout players get more attention and opportunity. Clark seems to fit the mold of the kind of player who might quietly push his way into the mix, especially as injuries happen, because they always do, and coaches look for reliable depth that can step in without a massive drop-off in performance. Beyond Clark, the Cowboys have some other undrafted free agents worth watching, including tight end Tyler Neville, who has shown flashes of potential and has even been invited to participate in off-season development programs tailored specifically for tight ends. The team has a history of sneaking undrafted tight ends onto the roster, and Neville could be another player benefiting from that tradition, especially as he gets more reps and experience against NFL-level competition. What makes this whole situation fascinating is the delicate balance the Cowboys are trying to strike between patience and opportunity. On one hand, they want to see what their invested draft picks and veteran players can deliver. On the other, they know the value of uncovering hidden gems in the undrafted pool. Players like Clark who might not have the name recognition, but bring the work ethic, skill, and versatility to carve out a role. And let's be clear, Clark's chances, while promising, still require him to prove himself in practice, preseason games, and beyond. the NFL is littered with talented players who never quite made the leap. So the journey for Clark is just beginning. That dynamic also extends to players like Justin Barron, who offers a different skill set and positional flexibility. As a safety-turned-linebacker, Barron adds depth in multiple areas and is likely to see his value tied heavily to special teams contributions. He could be that player who hovers just outside the main roster, ready to step in when injuries strike or packages call. For his unique blend of skills, both Clark and Barron have been given a shot, reflected in their guaranteed money and off-season reps. But the question remains, who will actually break through and stick around when the final cuts come? Looking ahead, it's reasonable to expect the Cowboys to keep a close eye on these undrafted players throughout training camp and preseason. Their performances in these settings often dictate whether they move from the practice squad to the active roster or find themselves looking for opportunities elsewhere. And given the Cowboys' need for depth, particularly in the defensive backfield and on special teams, there's definitely a window for Clark, Barron, and perhaps others to make an impression that could alter the team's plans. In a broader context, this situation underscores one of the NFL's most compelling narratives: the rise of undrafted free agents who overcome long odds to earn a spot in a league where every roster position is precious. For Cowboys fans and analysts alike, following Clark's progress provides a glimpse into the behind-the-scenes work that goes into building a roster beyond the stars and high-profile draft picks. It's a reminder that the road to making a team is rarely straightforward and often requires seizing moments born from opportunity, preparation, and sometimes a little bit of luck. The fact that Clark has already been integrated into first-team reps, even if only under injury circumstances, suggests that the Cowboys coaching staff wants to see what he can do when given the chance. That willingness to test him against the best players on the roster during practice is an encouraging sign, even if it doesn't guarantee he'll be a regular contributor early on. The team's investment in guaranteed money also indicates they believe he has the physical and mental tools to grow into a dependable player. All of this paints a picture of a team carefully managing its depth chart and roster spots, trying to identify and develop players who can provide value not just in the defensive backfield, but across special teams and situational packages. For Elijah Clark, this means every snap in practice and every opportunity in preseason games will be critical. He needs to show coaches he can handle the speed and complexity of the NFL, contribute consistently, and fit into the team's culture of hard work and accountability. As we continue to monitor the Cowboys' off-season and training camp, Clark's story will be one to watch closely, especially for those interested in the underdog narratives that make football so compelling. His journey reflects the larger theme of players who, despite being overlooked in the draft, find ways to catch coaches' attention and carve out roles through grit, determination, and performance. Whether he ultimately makes the 53-man roster or starts on the practice squad, Clark has already positioned himself as a player worth remembering in this cycle of Cowboys football. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Dallas Cowboys. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. In a surprising twist that has fans and analysts buzzing, the Dallas Cowboys may have pulled off a rapid-fire move that no one saw coming. Rumors are swirling out of Frisco that offensive lineman T.J. Bass has been traded in a deal that came together with startling speed, leaving many to wonder what the real motivations are behind this unexpected development. The whispers began late last night, with unnamed sources close to the organization hinting that Dallas had been quietly fielding calls for Bass over the last week. While nothing seemed imminent, a sudden flurry of activity reportedly pushed the front office into action. The details remain murky, but the alleged trade appears to have materialized in a matter of hours, catching even some players by surprise. T.J. Bass, an undrafted rookie standout from Oregon in 2023, had shown promise in his limited action with the Cowboys, drawing praise for his physicality and versatility on the line. Many projected him to compete for significant snaps in the upcoming season. So why the sudden shift? Some insiders believe the move could be tied to internal reshuffling along the offensive line, or perhaps a larger deal in the works. Others speculate that it's a cap space maneuver or a bet on another young lineman emerging during mini-camp. One thing is clear: this isn't a typical off-season decision. It feels more calculated, more urgent. The identity of the team acquiring Bass remains unconfirmed at this point, but early chatter points to an AFC franchise looking to bolster its depth up front. If true, it adds another layer of intrigue to a Cowboys offseason already filled with question marks. As fans scramble for confirmation and clarity, one thing is certain: Dallas may not be done shaking things up. The TJ Bass deal, if finalized, could be just the first domino in a much bigger plan. Stay tuned. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Dallas Cowboys, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. We always look forward to your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.